Yo, what is up, YouTube? As you can tell by the thumbnail, I'm head deep into the L5P now. So if you saw my last video, what it started was I was just going to color match my front end, get the front bumper off, do the grill and headlights and stuff. But I got to thinking, it's like, man, I'm literally right here. Might as well upgrade the intercoolers. I bought a Mishimoto, and I just said, screw it, I'm going to just do all my fuel system now since I'm going to have it mostly all apart. So did that. Since I was here, I ended up doing a fluid dampener with the ARP bolt. So that's really important. A lot of guys tend to ignore this, and the stock harmonic balancer, which is right there, is not very good. And if you ever go to change a water pump on these Duramaxes, you have to put an ARP bolt on next. So this bolt is good for about 400 foot-pounds. Fluid dampener tells you to torque it down to 320. I went ahead and torqued it down to 380 because the only thing that's holding that oil pump gear is literally the bolt, the torque from this bolt and the fluid dampener pushing against that gear. So if you don't torque this bolt down properly, that gear isn't going to spin and you're going to lose oil pressure. So that's how crucial this bolt is, that needs to be torqued. So that's the main issue with these Duramaxes is guys put a water pump on and they can never torque this down properly as it's supposed to be from the factory or an ARP bolt. Obviously the factory's torque to yield, this one's not. So I use a torque multiplier, which is 4-to-1. So I just set the torque wrench to 95 foot-pounds. So it put it around about 980 and whatnot. So did all that. Wasn't cheap, around $800-900 by the time you buy everything. But like the main thing was, I'm here for the CP3. So this is a 12 mil SNS pump I ordered, and I got 100 over injectors. It's all apart right now. I just got the pump in, so I'm kind of going back together now. I pulled the turbo out. You can get the stock HP4 out with the turbo in, but I went ahead and said screw it and just took my turbo out because it's so much easier to get that in with the turbo out. So if you're doing it from the valley, but initially I took the thermostat housing and all that stuff off the front, which I kind of needed to do all that stuff anyways, to do the water pump and all that. So I was here, so I was like, you know what, let me just take it all apart, get the new pump in. So like I said, I just got that done. They give you a new feed line there, and then they have you reuse the driver's side. So it fits. You have to kind of bend it a little bit, but the only thing I noticed, I flipped this around. So take this clamp off and flip it up 180 degrees, so that way this is like underneath it, because if not, it's on the top and it's too far forward. So I just did this and offset it, and it lines up perfect. So little pointer if you're doing the SNS, or actually I think Dan's Diesel is the only one that actually gives you a new driver's side fuel rail, which is nice on their kit. But all the other ones, they just give you the passenger side. So SNS, they reuse this, and I believe Dan's Diesel does the same thing, which is cool. They reuse the factory hardline in return there. So you do all that with your injector return. So it's kind of nice leaving all the factory fittings. Really, on the other hand, they don't give you instructions, of course, but from what I can see, because I made a decision before I bought this, it looks like they have you cut off the, I'm assuming, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming they have you cut off this factory hardline on the feed, delete the return, and then you just put that billet fitting over there and then just run a hose and just push it in here. So SNS does it different, or I think Dan's Diesel and SNS, they reuse the factory lines, which is nice. So I just got to take this hose off and then the banjo right here, and then it goes there. So that's all you got to do. I'm trying to think what else, and any little pointers. Like I said, I'm not doing how-to videos here, but I'm just trying to give out useful information from what my experience is so far. If you have any comments or any questions, leave it in the comments. I'm more than happy to help each other out in the Duramax community. Like I said, I've never done the 12 mil CP3 on a Duramax before. I'm doing my truck. I've done plenty of turbos and other stuff, but this is my first time really getting this far deep into an L5P, which is my own personal truck. So like I said, 100 overs, 12 mil CP3, Dan's Diesel 66 mil turbo. It'll easily be over 800 wheel, no doubt about it. SNS confirmed that, Dan's Diesel confirmed that. From a lot of sources, they all said yes, that's over 800. So did my tuner. He's like, yeah, that won't be a problem. The only debate on this whole topic is, can you reuse the factory pump? So SNS is the only one that claims that you can use the factory lip pump. They reuse all the factory lines, and so does Dan's Diesel, but the difference is they're using a Cummins-based CP3 pump, where I believe, don't quote me, but I believe Worley and Dan's Diesel are using a LBZ Duramax based pump. So it's a little bit different. So you have to check that out. But Let me just get this turbo in here and I'll continue on. So hold on one sec. All right, so I'm back. Ended up going ahead and got the turbo all in and got my turbo blanket on. I had this already previously. I highly recommend it. A lot of people tend to ignore putting a turbine blanket on their turbo. Worley makes this nice one for the L5P with the VGT. Obviously they make them for the S300, S400 as well. It helps keep the heat in, you know, honestly. It gives it away from that firewall and helps keep underhood temps down. It's a couple $100, but I think it's definitely worth the investment, and it helps keep that turbine housing from rusting too. So I don't know, I think it's definitely a good purchase. But so I went ahead and I hooked up my return line, so got that hooked up with the banjo, and that's how it's routed. So before I tightened everything down, I put the thermostat housing up there and the turbo inlet just to kind of make sure that the hose isn't gonna be rubbing on anything. So that's kind of how it ended up being routed. And it's kind of right there in the middle, as you can see, and then just loop it right there, and it's not kinked or anything, and there's your return. So there's the, you know, the feed in for the driver's side, passenger side, and now I'm good to go. So like I said, turbo's all torqued down, and I can start putting together all the front drive, you know, all the accessory drive stuff for the serpentine belt. So I'll get the thermostat housing all torqued down, and then, you know, get the power steering pump back on and the idler and pulley and all that stuff. And then once I get my injectors back, I'll be good to go. You know, then I can start putting the front cooling stack. So getting close. The hard part's done now, so now it's all downhill from here. And I also threw in my new coolant tank. You can see, obviously, if you know, you know, 17 to 19 add coolant. You know, mine was starting to do it, so I was like, you know what, I'm here, coolant's drained, I bought a new tank. So I wasn't by the WC Fab one, but I just couldn't see myself spending $550 for aluminum coolant tank, especially on this body style. You barely see it, it's kind of tucked away by the battery. So I did buy their upper radiator hose one, so I did buy that because that one you do see. So but yeah, so like I said, if you have any questions about this whole process, you know, feel free to let me know in the comments, you know, because there's not much on there. I mean, there's a few guys that do these installs and then they kind of get going, which is easy to do, and then they forget to go back and kind of show the detailed stuff. And that's what I'm here to do. Like I said, I'm not doing an install video here for you guys, but I'm showing you while I'm in the trenches, you know, the things that I found, that, you know, the processes that you need to look for, or whatever, you know, little pointers that can go a long way, you know. So like I said, there's the return all hooked up there, and then I do have the extension harness, which is right here, so that will get plugged in. And then once I get the harness all, so like, I think they just give you this so it's not tight on the factory harness, it gives you a little slack. So so there's that. And yeah, so so keep posted. Like I said, I don't know, this probably end up being a 2-3 video, but I just wanted to show you guys where I was at. And yeah, so the next video might be the truck running, so stay tuned. Peace out.